Okay, apparently they install this into the pump, put a wrench over here, put this into this fitting on here, and give her some good whacks until you get her close. So I'll get this kind of lined up how I want it, pound it in there, and then it'll still move once it's in there. Then you're supposed to tack weld this. I didn't show it, but that takes some serious force on the hammer and the wrench. Dings it up pretty good, but I got her in there. It doesn't really come up any higher than this. So I'm hoping that's going to be a good level for it. The way they made it, you really can't bring it up any deeper. I'm going to test with the pan on here. I'm going to test it with the gasket off. I'm going to take the gaskets off of here. So as long as it doesn't touch with the gaskets off, then I know I'm good. All right, so I got her set on here. I forgot I'd already put the rear gasket on here. I put a little bit of sealant on it to hold this rubber piece. So it's already kind of up a little bit on this end. But with the pan in place, we're just fine. It's not hitting. No, we should be good. We should be plenty good. This is the pan, if you remember, that the front end was a little boogered up on. Right here. So I'll have to give her a... It came that way in the mail. A few love taps. With any luck, I won't have any major leaks. All right, so since this oil pump really only has one setting because it comes up against here, this does move. I moved it, so it can move. So I would not be comfortable just leaving that like that, because it could move. I don't know why it would ever move against gravity, but you don't want to take that chance. So I'm going to go ahead and have someone spot weld that. I'm going to take these loose again. Again, I didn't tighten them completely. I did not open up the pump, didn't touch nothing. It's a milling pump, new milling oil driver. So we should be good. I'm not getting crazy with this. Well, that's a little thicker, but I just putting a smear on here. I already have the bottom gasket on. I realized I hadn't cleaned my bolts up and they were nasty. So I took a little time and got that real quick. Gonna concentrate a good sized bead down here around the main bearing cap. Mostly down in the corners. It's amazing how many times my battery goes dead. I film a lot, but then don't keep a lot because it's a lot of busy work. I chased the threads on this hole and got it to go right in. So I went back around, get everything a little bit extra snug. I actually did it by hand, so I knew what the feel was. I should be good. Everything's kind of oozing out just a little bit. It's pressed down, but I'm fairly confident I didn't over tighten them. And all right, now we can get the oil filter. And come over here, we can get the oil filter adapter on, and then we can flip this thing over and start working on the top end. It is time to put the heads on. I've already set the head gasket on here, and I'm just going to look it up real quick again. If there's anything that I'm missing here. I wiped down the cylinders, got any contaminants in there. I'm going to give them a little spray of oil again before I put the heads on, because this might sit for a while before I actually get a chance to start it. I put a cover over here because I already dropped something in there this morning. Fortunately, I was able to get it back out with the magnet. Don't drop stuff in your engine once the pan's on. You'll regret it. All right, let's get this head on here. That was heavier than I thought it was going to be. All right, put a couple of the short bolts. Before I can get started on checking for my pushrod length, I've got to get the heads torqued down. So I'm grabbing all the washers right now. I looked up the torque spec and the torque order. Let's get it done. I'm going to want to put a little bit of the assembly lubricant on the top of the bolt. That radius faces the head. Okay. A little bit on the threads. Okay. Here we go. And I'm going to repeat that for all of them all the way around. All right, so I'm going to torque them down inside to outside, start in the middle, go out, 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 and do that on both sides. So I've got my torque wrench. Let's get her done. I just got done measuring for my pushrod length. I'm going to order them. It was a bit of a hokey setup, so I'm not even going to show it. But I am confident that I have it right. I've measured it several times. Let's try that. All right, let's get the rest of these lifters in here. My lifters do fit in here with the heads on. I checked that earlier. Some engines, they will not. So you need to be mindful of that. You might have to put your lifters in before you put the heads on. So this is supposed to clear. I probably should crank it over and make sure it actually does, huh? I don't hear anything hitting. Should be good. I notice I already got some scratches on my valley pan here. I think I'm going to call it a night. I think I'm going to go ahead and touch those up. Push rods have been ordered. I decided not to put the valley pan in yet because it's going to make it easier setting the valve lash and everything else. So I could put some more stuff on the front of the engine, I suppose. No reason why I can't work on getting the pulleys and stuff on here. Well, actually, I could do the harmonic balancer. Let's work on that. All right. So you have to get the keyway in here lined up with the keyway on the shaft. That is literally the most important thing, because all the effort in the world pushing this on here, you do not want to force that. It's got to line up with the key. Now I'm going to use a puller to pull it on there, but that doesn't do any good if it's not lined up. You're just going to damage something. So it's got to be lined up perfectly. I had it last night, then I took it off because I oiled everything, and oh man, why was I able to see it last night better? You know, if they had put a mark all the way out to the end, that might have helped a little bit. Didn't have to run the keyway all the way out, just a mark, so a guy would be able to line it up a little bit. Oh yeah, that helps a lot. you don't want to hit this, because then you're hitting your crankshaft against the thrust bearing. Don't want to damage your thrust bearings. So you definitely want to use a puller. I was thinking about heating it up, and when I mean by heating it up, I don't mean redneck grab a torch. I mean heat it up in hot water. When the engine gets to a couple hundred degrees, wouldn't hurt nothing. But all right, what we got here? So we got this guy here. Fits in there perfectly. Beautiful. Okay, and then we got this guy. Wrong diameter. Are any of these the right diameter? I don't think so. M16 by 2. That's this one. Oh, this end here is fatter. Here we go. If I grab the right one. All right, so I got this spun down on here. The first couple threads were bad, so it took a little bit to get it on there. They weren't bad, they were just kind of sticky. Looks like a brand new kit. Nobody's ever used it. This does spin into the crank. I'm going to put it in there, make sure I get a couple real good thread contact. Then I put a couple washers on the back side of this, because I do not have a socket this big. Ideally, if you had a socket that big, that would really be the way to go. I'm hoping there's enough of this sticking out when I get done here that this will just slide on there. And I already oiled the shaft. So I'm hoping just this spins on here. Oh yeah, she's going. I gotta move it just a little bit away from the table so I'm not gonna mash my hand. There we go. This would be easier to do without the water pump on. Now if I get up there and I hit the key and it's not lined up, I just grab the puller and pull it back off. No big deal. Haven't hit any resistance yet. Like one of the guys said, if all of a sudden you feel a lot of resistance, you're doing something wrong. Stop. Start over. Okay, there's just a little bit more resistance, but I'm sure that was right when it went onto the keyway. Yeah, she's going on nice and smooth. All right. I don't know if I was recording that or not, but I ran this bolt in all the way. The other threads on that puller were coarse thread, not fine, and it took out the last 2 threads on the crank. But this is obviously going in about 15 threads, so it's no big deal. This was a finer thread bolt. Maybe it's a Pontiac thing. So anyway, I've got a bolt back here where the flywheel would go. I'll go get my torque wrench and get this torqued down, and then we'll double check to make sure our timing mark lines up at top dead center. All right, timing mark lined up perfectly, 160 foot-pounds of torque. We're good to go. Now I'm gonna go ahead and do some work on the upper part. I've got some push rods on the way, so the next time you see me, I'll probably be working on that. Spent about the last hour and a half mocking this up, finding the bolts, painting stuff. I wasn't happy with the power steering pump because I completely stripped all the paint off the power steering pump, repainted it. It was a remanufacture. They painted right over the grease. So I'm hoping the internals are better than the external. Mocked up all the pulleys. It's not bolted on here. I just put these bolts in here so it was square. I took out the third pulley for the air conditioner. I actually sold that to a guy for the price of shipping, just so you could have a pulley because he was missing one. But everything lines up dead on. I had to go back and reference those photos that I took, looked at a couple of my videos. I've got to get the alternator on here yet. One of these bolts has got to come out for the alternator bracket, put the alternator on here, And then I'm pretty much mocked up on the front. I've got my fan up there. I'll take this off. But otherwise, I'm pretty much set on the front. Trying to get a few things done before the push rods come this week. So hopefully the next time you see me working on it is either I'm showing you the alternator or I'm actually working on the push rods. Well, I got her all mocked up on there. Got her all on here with the belts. These are the old belts. I'm just kind of seeing what I got. This is the alternator I had on it last year. It's a little dirty from all the oil leaks on the machine, on the engine. I'll clean it up a little bit. It's gonna get dirty as I'm driving, but these are the old belts. I know these are like the notch style, but you know what? I never had them ever jump off. I just have them on here kind of loose right now. I just want to make sure everything cleared, that I got everything squared up right. There are some shims and stuff you can do on these brackets in order to get them to line up just right. And I do believe she's lining up pretty darn good. We're gonna try it like that. If I'm wrong, there's a little bit of tweaking I can do. It's not completely tight yet, but everything is on there. That's the way she's gonna be. I've got to get the nut for this yet. I think if you watch my previous video on this power steering pump, I think I sent the nut along with the cap. I was able to rescue the cap, but I'm gonna have to go buy a nut for the front. I have no idea where that is. So it takes a lot of patience, just little by little getting through this. I went back and referenced my photos. I referenced my my video actually, just to make sure that I had everything right. Then I went back to found the factory catalog to see what it was supposed to be as opposed to what I have, because this was a menagerie of a hodgepodge of parts put together. So I wanted to do it at least halfway right. I know I don't have all the right bolts and the right colors. I don't care. I want it to look and drive nice. That's all I really care. So thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, invite your friends, and we'll see you in the next video. Have a great day.